Yo, 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 it's your man Young Koolaid. What's cracking? I was chilling yesterday, scrolling through Twitter on my phone and all that, and I came across a tweet from HMK. Shout out to HMK, great YouTuber. He had a tweet basically which went like this, that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be the end of the Xehanort saga, but the series wasn't going to be over. And he was like, how could we have a villain who's worse than Xehanort? And that got me thinking a little bit. I'm like, wow, what could the next villain really look like? Would they be worse than Xehanort, or would they be different? Things like that. And that's what I'm really here for today, all right? So we're going to skip all the normal formalities because you've been on YouTube before, you know how it works. And we're going to get right to business. All right, so first, there are really many different factors that go into building up a new antagonist. Like, for example, really the setup of the Kingdom Hearts galaxy, like the different worlds and what's happening. Like, I guess really the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of factors in like what happens at the end of that game. Like, it really doesn't fully factor into like this video in particular, but I guess, you know, into the actual next main antagonist, it would have a bigger effect. But also, which I always end up pointing back to this video for some reason. In the Sora be the next main protagonist after Kingdom Hearts 3 video I really explained whether Sora would be the next, you know, main character or not, even if they said that he would. And I really explained in that video, so I'm not gonna go into really big detail here. But the main character also, I guess, has a big factor in what the next main antagonist would look like. But I really want to briefly look at the main 3-game antagonists that we've had: Ansem, Xemnas, and Xehanort. So I won't be talking about Vanitas or Young Xehanort or like Marluxia. I really just want to look at the main 3 since this is a main series game. When we look at Ansem, he is the Seeker of Darkness, which, I mean, you really can't come up with a more very befitting title. Like, this man is literally a Seeker of Darkness. He's evil just to be evil. He wants darkness to extinguish the light, and he wants darkness to reign all over. You know how that goes. And then we have Xemnas, who is the leader of the organization. All right, he's evil as well, but his motives are different. Like, he's a bit more masterful in his planning. You know, he's not as, I guess you could say, surfacingly. I don't even know if that's a word, but like you don't see him be as like evil as Ansem is. Like, you see Ansem commit evil acts. I mean, Xemnas is evil. We all know it. But I'm saying, like, you don't see it as much as you see it from Ansem. And then we have Xehanort, who is the overarching villain. Like, he's literally Ansem and Xemnas put together. I mean, even more so than them together being his heartless and nobody. But he's really just them put together. The saga is literally named after this man. So, I mean, like, dude is crazy. He went back in time, told his past self to come help his future self. Then he has like all these disciples he's gonna turn into versions of himself. He killed himself to have 2 more versions of himself. Like, this dude is wild, all right? Dude is wild. He is the overarching villain, and he's not the overarching villain for no reason. Now, how do we create a newer, compelling antagonist? Now, I want to highlight the word antagonist right here and really briefly talk about the definition. An antagonist is a person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something, an adversary. It is the antonym of protagonist. It is the exact opposite. And I want to say that for this because I don't want to create a new villain per se, just a new antagonist, because I really think that the new antagonist doesn't necessarily have to be as purely evil as Xehanort. Now, I do think there needs to be some sort of darkness within them, but I don't think they need to be just as like Xehanort's heart is literally darkness. I don't think the next antagonist necessarily needs to take that same route. But the character depth that the next antagonist does need to be that deep. Like, the plan doesn't have to be necessarily as intricate as Xehanort's, but, you know, the motives that he has and how he or she goes about their way to get their overarching goal, it does need to be pretty elaborate. And maybe we take a slight shift from the war of darkness versus light and we create a more ethical problem between the protagonist and antagonist. Like, for example, and I'll go more into detail in this in the next video I have, but maybe Keyblade wielders become more abundant after Kingdom Hearts 3. Not necessarily to the amount that there was in like Union Cross or Union Key, whatever you want to call it, but maybe, you know, the Keyblade starts to choose more people, and maybe someone gets their hands on a Keyblade that can't access it naturally, and they start to make prosthetic Keyblades, and then we have like all these people with prosthetic Keyblades and people with real Keyblades, and maybe, you know, they're trying to like just not necessarily conquer the worlds, but lead all the worlds at once, so they kind of have to, you know, assert dominance over them and things like that. And then you're out there, you're supposed to stop them, like kind of like Gurren Lagann in a way. Like, if you've seen that show, how the original mechs they had were natural mechs, and then in the future they started making man-made mechs that like were different in power, like they weren't made from the same sources, and that's why they were end up being different by the end of the show. I won't spoil anything, but they ended up being different in the end of the show. But it's kind of like that is what I would say. But the next antagonist, I would also say, really needs to have intriguing companions that help them in their motives. Because I mean, for Xehanort, he had a lot of people who were helping in his goal. But at the same time, I felt like, or personally, I felt like Xehanort really was kind of more of a lone wolf. Like, he had all these people helping to do what he needed, but he was always kind of off doing his own thing while they were doing it together. Like, while they were helping each other, he was really just like off by himself doing his own things and making his own moves in silence. Like, he wasn't really always there, you know, like in person to do the damage while they were always doing it. And I feel like the next antagonist, the companions they have really need to be, I guess, more, not necessarily connected on a physical level, because I don't really think you can get more connected than literally being a person, but just different versions. I think they need to be connected more on a personal level, like just their relationships with each other and why they support each other's goals and motives and things like that. But I mean, to really sum this all up, I always feel like the best way to follow up a villain who is just purely evil is to make one who's more complex. And I mean, you really saw that in Xemnas after Ansem, even between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I think Xemnas is more complex than Ansem is, just as a character. And I think that's what you do going forward for the next Kingdom Hearts saga, is make an antagonist who's more complex. Actually, I don't even know if you would want to make one who's more complex than Xehanort, because Xehanort is actually pretty complex himself. But I'm saying, you know, maybe just make him different. You know, maybe make him different, not purely evil. You know, maybe just, or he or she, make them different from Xehanort, and you know, just move forward from there. But that's really all I have for this video in particular. If you enjoyed, you know what to do, man. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, all that stuff. I really don't even need to say it, but I do anyway, just to be safe. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think the next villain would look like, the next antagonist would look like in the next saga. So yeah, E3 is right around the corner, and I'm very hyped. Let's get it. See you later. I'm out. Deuces.